I've heard a lot of comments about, our television presence.
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the December 7th, 2022 meeting of the Goffstown Economic Development Council. I'll call the meeting to order, and if you could all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Let's start with a roll call. Why don't we start with Joanne?
Joanne Duffy, Planning and Economic Development Director.
Jim Craig, Select Board Representative.
Chris Barrett, alternate member.
Chet Bowen, Chair.
Melanie Redford Hebert, member.
Charlie Birchmeyer, member.
Dick Bruno, member.
Sarah Smith-Trappis, member.
Okay, great. First order of business, we'll do the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
One minor thing
Yeah,
on it.
sure.
I'm both referenced as Chris Barrett and Chris Bartlett.
Okay, yep.
in the minutes.
And where is that, just for Gail's reference?
It's several places.
Several places, got it.
Yeah, but sometimes it's Chris Barrett, which is correct, and sometimes it's Chris Bartlett.
Fair enough.
So
We have a Bartlett upstairs.
There we go.
autocorrect.
Is that a motion with a
Yeah, sure. Motion with
the edits?
That edit.
second?
Second.
Second by Charlie. Okay, motioned by Chris, seconded by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And I'll have to abstain because I was not
I
here.
may not have been here either.
Okay, then you're abstaining too. So
Yes.
motion passes with those edits. Thank you. We have Andrew. Andrew at the table. Andrew, if you could introduce yourself and name your business, that would be fantastic.
My name is Andrew Ezekiel. I'm the owner of Easy Express Car Wash.
Great, great. Well, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. You want to tell us a little bit about the business, how it was getting it set up, the support you got from the town, or lack thereof, anything that you want to share?
Sure. Yeah. So, it was a dream of mine, as strange as it may sound, to own a car wash. A lot of people don't really understand that, but for whatever reason, that was one of my things. And my attorney, who many of you know, Rod Stark, looked at me across his desk one day and put his arm on his thing, and he said, "I've never seen anybody so excited about a car wash." And so what I said to him is, I said, "Rod, I don't think you understand what this facility is going to look like, or what it's going to be like." And so I had done some research over a couple of years in the car wash industry. I went to car wash shows, got involved with the International Car Wash Association, and just learned a lot about the industry. And then, went to work looking around for a place to put it. And, I didn't have, the money really for an A-class kind of real estate place, maybe on South Willow or something like that. I couldn't get into that. It was above my my level of interest as far as an investment. And so I looked elsewhere, and I started looking on Route 114 in Goffstown. And I guess in the beginning it wasn't only in Goffstown, it was in Ware, but I really was focused on 114. And being a resident of Goffstown and then New Boston and now Goffstown again, I saw the need for a car wash. There is other car washes in the area, but they're not the same as what I've done. And so, I put that to the banks, went through the investment, kind of looking through if it was a good idea and if it was going to be a solid plan, and the numbers came back favorable. And so I decided to really focus in on Goffstown and 114. Traffic numbers were okay, so it was doable. Then I was going to go in right across from Irving, but they it wasn't big enough, and I was gonna buy the property next door, but they kinda backed out at the last minute, so I ended up at 186 Mast Road, which many of you know is that big. And so it was, at the time, it was about 40 acres, and I went to the bank, and I said, okay, I've got my piece of land. And they said, yeah, Andy, we don't really finance 40 acres for a car wash. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, you know. And so I had to subdivide, and that was the beginning of my involvement with the town, was coming in with my engineers and you know, doing the subdivision and then talking about the site plans and all that. And I think for me, I think it was what, we came to the town for the first time 3 weeks before COVID hit.
Oh, wasn't that-
Yeah. And so we got our first kind of just a light introduction. COVID hit, everything kind of stopped and shut down. So it was a while, and then it was just my engineers were allowed here, and I was remote. And so that was interesting, you know, to go through that whole process like that. It was very different, but we still did it, and we were successful, and you guys were very, very helpful in pushing everything through, even though it was a very, very difficult time, and you guys were backed up, and there were not always you know, people here, but they were remote, and so you could vote, and they could vote
Yeah.
remotely and get things passed. So, you know, and you know, we got a lot of good ideas from the planning board, and you know, we made it through the town really smoothly, and I have to credit my engineers, and in particular Nick Golan for TF Moran, who's really
Yep.
kind of, you guys know him, and yeah, he's really good at kind of compromising, and you know, I went along with his suggestions, and a lot of those were what you guys were suggesting, you know. So I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with you know, where I am. I wish I was a little closer to the road, you know, but those are kind of the things that are unavoidable as far as the EPA goes and all that. So.
But your sign is visible.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, my sign's there. Yeah. Yeah.
Can't miss it.
No, can't miss it. Would have been a little nicer if PSNH didn't put a pole right in front of it going eastbound, but that kind of threw it. That kind of threw it off a
I
little
don't
bit.
even
But
notice it.
yeah, coming eastbound, you can't really. It's right in the middle of it.
Oh.
So question for you, because this council, one of the biggest things that we do is try to support businesses that currently exist, but just as much support new businesses that are coming in. So as you're going through the planning, sewer, all of those pieces, trying to be a support system for you, and take a look at what's going on. You can be honest, did you know we existed, and did you come talk to us?
I think Joanne mentioned. I think you mentioned it to me, but I think my engineers kind of preempted that.
Sure.
They also,
Yeah.
you know, and so I kind of went through them.
Okay.
But at the same time, they know what, you know, what the requirements are, and you know, I didn't think, I don't know how much of an impact you would have had with PSNH or things like that. I mean, pole placement and things like that.
Hey,
I don't
we
know.
can try.
I don't know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'm
Has
open up to
every-
questions. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, has everyone been to the
I have.
site?
Yep.
It's a beautiful, beautiful
is a-
car wash.
Great facility.
Thank you, thank you.
Just a question, what makes it different than the others that are in town?
Mostly just the modern technology that goes into it, okay? All of the brushes are what's called NeoGlide, and they're a foam that doesn't absorb any dirt or rust or any kind of material. They're also washed as they go around. So a lot of it is the cleaning of the car before you get there, and then the chemicals, the soap that's used is it's such a foamy soap that really nothing touches your car except for the NeoGlide on top of the foam. And then some chemicals are applied afterwards, and those are just rinse aids, window, wheel and tire blasters, things like that. And we also recycle 60% of our water. So I'm running on, 60% reclaim right now. And I don't use that in any of the rinses or anything. That's used in the guns for the pre-wash, and then everything underneath and on the sides, your tire blasters and your undercarriage. But it's, there's a lot of car washes around. There's a lot of myth out there. It's not a myth, actually. It is true that some car washes can scratch your cars. But that was when they used cloth, and it held the dirt and the salt and in the cloth. These I can wash 1,000 cars in a row and take you into my car wash, and you can put your hands and your arms all through the wraps that I have, and you won't find none. You won't find anything that's abrasive, it's amazing. So we've had a lot of people come and say, "Look, you scratched my car," and I say, "Okay, let's go look." Okay, and I say, "Look, do you think we scratched your car?" And they're like, "No, you just didn't scratch my car."
Yeah.
So, in that way, and then we've got the conveyor belt, which is different than the chain. We can take different size tires, and nowadays there's all kinds of different. We can retract. We can take things away if you don't want them. So there's a lot of technology involved. The kiosks with the software, the touchpads, that's all new. A lot of people want to just drive up and hand the attendant a credit card or some cash or whatever, but that's, it's like McDonald's, right? You got to go to the pay station and go through. So that's new too. So
Yep.
yeah.
Just follow up, just how much delay do you think the COVID caused? Because you said you started probably, was it March 2020?
Throughout the whole process, probably the biggest problem with the COVID was the bank. I did an SBA loan, and what usually takes about 3 months took 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was delayed really heavily, yeah, a lot. And then towards the end of it, because it took so long, then I ran into supply chain issues.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get anything, most notably PSNH. I couldn't get a transformer. We ordered a transformer, and it took a year and 2 months to get to us.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that you persevered through all that. That's a lot of obstacles to overcome. to make that
Yeah, I
happen.
mean, the bankers and some of the brokers said, most people would have
Mhm.
walked away by now. They wouldn't have. But again, it was my dream, so I was going to walk away.
I like that. Other questions? Yeah.
I really admire your passion for the industry. My grandfather was a car salesman, and there was nothing else in the world he wanted to do. And he had the same sort of passion that you have, so I really admire that. And I'm glad that you're in Goffstown. My question is simple, though. How's business?
So far, it's slow, but we're also at a slow time of the year for the car wash industry, which in a way is good for me because we're learning about the car wash itself, the software and the hardware, and we have had some glitches and things that needed to be ironed out. And so when I was going into construction originally, I was going to start in August of the year before, and I was going to finish in December or January. And the car wash people said, you really don't want to do that because you're going to start in the busy season. And these things have a lot of moving parts, and the software runs the whole car wash. My car wash is basically a big, huge computer. It's all run on one system. I have a huge master control center, and it runs the whole thing. It's all timed. So when your car goes through and it passes these eyes, it knows exactly when you're past it. Start something else as you go along through it. Yeah, it's all timed. So anyway, I I forgot what we.
How's business?
Oh, yeah, so anyway,
And then I have two
it's
more
been slow,
questions
it's
for you.
been slow. And my marketing also too, they held off because they wanted me to get through they know that there's glitches in the software and the hardware, and we weren't marketing aggressively until recently, so, yeah.
Can I follow up?
You sure can.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask you as well, how many people do you employ from the area?
Right now I have 6.
6
Yeah.
employees? And are you using any other businesses in town to help support your business?
No, my supplier is out of Boston, yeah, Auto Wash Maintenance, they're out of, Boston.
And not for advertising or other supplies? you
No,
might
I'm
need?
using a marketing company that, I'm gonna do some of my own marketing from the post office. But right now, I'm with a company that markets car wash, that's what they do, yeah.
What channels do you guys use, marketing channels? You know,
I'm not sure, what do you mean?
like digital or flyers or?
So
mailers?
mostly it's, mailers, yeah, mostly it's mailers, yeah.
Would it be helpful to you to have information on other businesses in the area that do those sort of businesses,
Absolutely,
those sort of services?
absolutely, yeah,
Like
that'd be great.
trucking and all of that.
Yeah.
Is that what you
Printing?
mean? Printing, okay.
Yeah.
Printing, I think,
Yeah.
is trucking something?
No, I was thinking cleaning them.
Yeah, to use the car wash. I know where you're at. Yeah.
Fleet accounts and things like that,
Yeah.
yes, I have been approached, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Fantastic.
Great.
yeah. I'm trying to get the police department, but they're asking for a really low price, so. I might have to give in though, because I really want them.
Well, it would be continuous service, I think, so.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
I appreciate you answering my questions.
Well, thank you
And
very
I don't want
much.
to take up anybody else's time.
Any other questions? Okay.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for coming in.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Appreciate
the
it.
community.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
No.
Is there anything that you hoped we would discuss now that we have not?
No, I don't think so, no, I think I'm good, yeah.
Okay.
Is
So
there
we'll,
anything we could do for you at the
I
moment?
don't think so, you asked me that earlier, and I don't think there's anything other than tell people to
Yeah.
get on over to
Get your
Chris
car wash.
I have to tell you, we're not usually in this sort of inquisitive mode.
Okay.
But would you feel comfortable coming back if there was something that you needed?
Absolutely, absolutely,
that's great.
yeah,
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 now that you know we're here.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
I promise you, we don't usually
I'll
ask this.
take all the
many
advice and tips and hints you got, absolutely. I'm open to all of it, so,
Great.
Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks
Appreciate
again.
your time.
Good
And
luck.
come
Thank
back
you.
anytime.
thank you very
All
much.
right,
you.
thank you. And we have Mountain Bays Brewery up next.
All right.
questions. Did
Come
you
on up
bring
to the table.
samples? Samples?
Thanks.
They were doing samples at the backyard.
No
brewery.
no chicken tenders, no
Where-
samples?
There,
All over the
great.
place. Yes, we are all over
I can
the
work
place.
on that.
Trying to be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Get our name out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Appetite.
Jim, you've been here before. This is you're back, right?
I'm back, yeah.
Thank you for coming back. If you want to
I've been
introduce
here.
yourselves and go through that, it'd be great.
Jim and Carrie Courier, so we go by Jim Carey.
Very
So, makes everyone know our name and,
Remember.
yeah, and tell them we do stand-up comedy. Let's see, we're residents of 35 years in Goffstown. I liked beer. To the point where I started brewing with my daughter's now husband, and that was up at UMaine in one of the dormitories. So, liked it so much, which I had always wanted to do, but I never, looked into it, and then thought to myself, boy, I can do that. So started brewing, brewed in my basement for 12 years, and had wanted to do something like this probably for 30 years. But timing, with children and such, now they're grown, so it seemed like a better time, and she kept saying, well, go ahead, do it,
Yeah.
do it, do it. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna. yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna. And finally, one morning, she woke me up and I said, no, I'm not, I'm done. I've been in retail for 42 years and just said, I'm done. Don't wanna go through the holidays again. And so I retired and, early and decided to do this. We started working on it. Again, we met with the, I don't know, I guess it was this
TRC.
TRC, and I guess it was approved through them,
Yeah.
and we went forward.
He didn't have to go to the planning board because it was an existing.
You have a site ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the site, we had looked at, try to get into other sites. We were trying at one time to get into the temporary, supposedly the temporary hangar at LeMay's, which they thought was a great idea at the beginning, then COVID actually hit. So, again, by the end of COVID, their whole business model had changed. They were now going to use the hangar. So therefore, we decided, well, you know, let's look at a few things. And a friend of mine who's a broker ended up, between him and I, ended up brokering the deal with, you know, in the mall, which at that time there was quite a few open spots. The spot we wanted was Unit 108 because it had a nice big wooden bar in there. And he said, sure. And then after we're done all our talking, and all of a sudden it was 111. And I said, okay, I'll take 111 just as long as I can have that bar. And so we signed the lease, went down and took the bar. And so the
Beautiful
bar is
bar.
now.
He let you have it.
That's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
centerpiece that
Yeah.
talk, everybody comes in, they love that bar.
But it
You've
was
been
a-
in before.
I have,
Yes.
yeah.
It was the old not Rite Aid, Radio Shack,
Oh.
which was a mess. They left a lot of stuff in it. Asbestos flooring, pipes were asbestos coated. It was a mess. So anyways, the landlord was great to work with. The town was great to work with. We at that time it was Mark and Bill. I asked them to actually meet me there and say, this is what I want to do. What do I have to do? And
Mark and Bill are the fire and building
yes,
inspectors.
at the time, yeah. By the end of it, Bill did the final inspection and just said, well, you've done everything you wanted us to, so I'm just here to count seats. They came in, counted seats, and next we had the place almost opened. We started brewing, and we found out that you're not supposed to brew until you actually have a license.
Details, right? Details.
Yeah.
We thought we'd get the
Small.
license before we opened, so we said, well, let's try brewing and get, when they came in and did the inspection, I learned something quick. So they were okay with it, sort of. That said,
It all worked out.
yeah, it's all,
Sure did.
Yeah.
you know, we're open, it'll be a year on the 16th.
Yep.
So we do have Santa Claus coming, so just so you
Yeah.
know, you guys, you know, want
A
to
lot
come
of events.
Yeah.
We have a paint night tonight.
right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I do see a lot
Yes.
of your events advertised,
Yes.
in some in conjunction with other things that are going on in town. It
Yes.
looks like you guys are making a real push for it, so.
Yeah.
We're really trying to get the community involved and, yeah, support other local business in town,
Well, our,
which has been working out pretty good.
yeah, basically, we used Atlantic Demo, was it East Coast or whatever, someone here in town. He was more or less our contractor. The wood came from, I don't know if you know Roland Dion. He used to live here in town. He moved out to New Boston, but he has a, whatever it is, a mill there, so we got all our wood through him. Electrical was Mo Mayat, who here in town. We use Brown Graphics for our
Apparel.
apparel and all that, so.
Charlie's for our food right now.
Charlie's.
Charlie's, yeah. Yeah.
When we have food, so, and also Pizza Market. We'll
Yes.
utilize them here and there too,
Yes.
so. And of course, the
Domino's,
Domino's next to
yeah.
us, so,
Yeah.
who got 108?
Yeah. 111's better anyways, we're
Yeah.
closer to the road.
So,
It all worked out.
Did you ever finish the patio?
It is basically finished. It just got so late in the season that I decided that, well, I'll wait to go to the state with it, not realizing it was gonna be 75 degrees through, most of November.
Today.
Yeah. So if I had known that, if I had a crystal ball, I would've gone after it, but, yeah, we have, there's a little, what's his name? The little Frenchman that lives in town, he builds,
Norm, I just know him by Norm.
yeah.
He lives on
He used
Mass
to have,
Road. The picnic
picnic
tables.
tables up on Mass
Oh,
Road
yeah,
there, they
yeah,
sell
yeah.
it, so he built our picnic
Yeah,
tables.
so we used him, so.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Oh, what else can I say? Dealing with the town, everything was great. We had one real concern was the sewage fee. That was really, really,
Yeah.
and after the landlord had spent so much money on, because he put in a new HVAC system, he paid for the asbestos to be pulled out of there after everything. It was kind of hard to go to him and say, hey, can you pay this also? So that was kind of enlightening.
5,000?
12.6.
Yeah,
Wow.
I remember.
yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to start by saying, I heard you say everything was good for the most part. So that's something that I'll remember. I think that the town does a really good job. That piece, the surprise fee. One of the things that we'd like to do here is help anyone bring in a new business that may not be, someone with a business background but has this great idea. The
Right.
American way, the great idea. And so what we'd like to do is try to eliminate not the fees themselves, of course, but
Right.
the surprise, the suddenly, oh my goodness, I thought we're at the finish line, and oh no, that's what we, as a council, we'd like to eliminate. So, I think that just so you know, has spurred a discussion through up to the select board level about connecting the dots
Yep.
for business owners when they come into town hall, signing off that they see what these fees are, what they're going to be, that kind of thing. So I don't know it's a finished product yet. But that experience is something that we certainly want any new business owner to
Right.
avoid. The fees are the fees, but the surprise of them is the real tough part.
Sure.
So, and I also wanted to comment on your business in general. Very warm feeling I had the night before Thanksgiving. I went there with a friend, brought my son, and I was like, man, I hope my son's okay. Like he's wild, right? Yeah, Connect Four over there. You had games for them, and as you notice the clientele, it's everybody. There was everything from people my age to up a little more, even a lot more, and then St. A students, and just seeing people talk to each other. Someone put the World Cup game on one thing. So it was just a really nice environment, very welcoming environment. And someone had mentioned the patio too, that they're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So I think you have a good thing going, but can you ask the same question you asked the last person?
How's business?
I'll
Assume that's
let-
what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Being in business, some days we're packed, and other days we're not. For the most part, I say being in business the first year, just advertising through Facebook and Instagram, word of mouth, we've done very well. And I only see it getting better because we're getting more exposure with the Brew Fest. We did a Brew Fest in the parking lot in October, sold
Did
over
any of you make it?
400 tickets, and over 300, probably 50, 60 people showed up for it.
Wonderful.
So we have 15 different breweries. I think it went very well, and we'll probably be doing that every year. It's to support veterans, New Hampshire veterans in need, which is an awesome organization through Work with Bee. So we're happy with that, and tonight we have paint night. Next week we have gingerbread building for competition. We'll have a comedy night in January. We have the charcuterie board again in January, so it's a lot of stuff.
Salsa dancing.
Salsa, yeah.
Wow.
A lot of different things going on.
Cribbage,
so.
anybody here play cribbage?
Yeah, cribbage on
Tuesday night.
Tuesdays. Yeah, we had like
Tuesday
18
night.
people last night. Yeah, trivia on Sunday from 4 to 5. It's just a lot of stuff, yeah.
A lot of extra work from just beer though, right?
Yes, but it's fun. He says this was his dream, I think it's my dream. I love being there. I love talking to people, being around people. People are happy when they come in, they're
And she doesn't
happy.
marry.
Happier when they leave. It is a warm, we get the vibe when people come in, they're like, we love the vibe in here. So I feel like we're on the right track.
And I don't lose profits because she doesn't drink.
I
so.
don't drink. Our daughter does, but I don't, yeah, yeah.
She takes care of that for you?
They do.
No, I do.
Yeah, I have another question for you.
Yeah,
How many employees do you have?
3.
3.
Yeah.
Is that the 2 of you and your daughter?
Yes. And we all live in Goffstown.
Nice.
She
Yeah,
moved
she
back.
moved back from Maine.
Yeah, from Maine. She bought a place in Goffstown, so,
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, so
Fantastic.
we're all
Look,
right
we're
here.
attracting people.
Yeah.
When you say that each night is different, do you find that it's the same night each week, or it's very sporadic?
So it's sporadic, like this past summer, it used to be typically Friday nights were good, we had entertainment Friday nights, it brought in people, and Thursdays were slow, it kind of changed through the summer, I think because people traveled, left on a Friday, and were gone. So this summer, August was extremely slow, it was scary slow, but we did check in with other breweries, and so now we're kind of learning, like 4th of July week is a slow week. August, it seems like a lot of people vacation in
Yeah.
August, so, we'll make some adjustments next year, maybe our hours will change,
But also the economy hit too, so.
change with that.
So something for you, for all of you to be aware of, any and all businesses, if they have events that are coming up, I say this in recognition that the only people in this room are not audience members, right? So, but any business that has something coming up that they would like us to say out loud here, we will try to oblige that. For everyone, we meet once a month, and I will say, even maybe just the people on this board that know something's happening by word of mouth through the town, might be able to move the needle a little bit for you. So feel free to take advantage of that for sure. Andrew as well.
And feel free to like their Facebook page,
Yes.
and then you can share the events.
Yeah, that would be great.
I make a habit out of posting about every place that we go to or people we talk to with different businesses. Hopefully that will drive up some
That would be great.
business.
We appreciate that. We appreciate everybody's support. And when customers do leave, I thank them for coming in and supporting, business in the area. And,
I just watch her.
and all over
you
the
brew.
place.
She obviously has her wheelhouse, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was total surprise. I was like.
They're always trying to give me the day off, and I'm like,
I don't
because
want a day off.
I clean Monday through Thursday, cleaning business, and then I do that Thursday through Sunday, and they're like, I'm like, nobody tells me to stay home from cleaning, and you all want me to take it off in a hurry. So, it's like, I love it.
The question I have is, we have tried to, because we don't have a restaurant, say we may eventually go into doing hot dogs and paninis and something easy, because the liquor licenses are different based on if you serve food or not. We've tried to get food trucks, and the food trucks, the pushback that we've gotten is that they say that it's difficult to get a license for a food truck or a permit for the food truck.
So we have what they call a hawkers and peddlers license in town for the food trucks. And the difficult part of it is that, if you were going to be a food truck for the season or, for a good portion of the year, you have to go through, what do they call that, a criminal check with the police department through the state. I think you have to get fingerprinted. There's a process that you have to go through. And you also have to provide insurance for your business in case anyone were to get sick or whatever. However, that also applies to someone that just wants to do it in town for that, say, that one night. But the cost is less. Like if you have a actual truck and you get the seasonal license, it's $200. If you were to have like a cart, it's $100. But there is another rate for like it's by, I don't know if it's by the week or by the day, but it's much, much less. It's like $20 or something like that. I think the cost is involved in the criminal check of it. I don't know how much the state charges for that, but I'm assuming there's some kind of a fairly good fee. And then the hassle of, it takes a little while because you have to go to the police department. And but the police department is actually in charge of the that's okay, of the actual application process. So it's a little cumbersome, but I think that's what people are complaining about the most.
Is that for this town only? 'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
only
like-
for this town. So each town, some towns have nothing.
Okay.
And they just let the state handle it, because they also have to get a food license from the
Yeah,
state.
right.
But most of those
Yeah.
people already have
Right.
that, especially if they're already in business. So we have like our own, just so, because we don't have anything like in the ordinance that says we allow food trucks. So they came up with a new ordinance just for the food truck industry called Hawkers and Peddlers. So, yeah, I've heard a couple of people complain.
Yeah.
And they seem to be turned off as soon as I say, well, you have to go through this criminal check. And they're like, but we already have done that with the state. It's like, well, this is an addition to.
Right.
Yeah, it seems
Seems
like
a little
it's,
It would be
redundant, huh?
nice if the state, if the info that they had received from the state, giving them their approval, if it was, recent, within the year, that the town would also accept it. But I'm sure, this was a document that was approved by the select board. So I'm sure that if there were enough people that felt uncomfortable with it, speaking with the police chief, they may be able to make some changes to it, and then it would have to go back to the select board for approval.
Enough people or one person who's really
Yeah,
anxious about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
So get
it's-
one person on the select board? Oh, us? Yeah, we're really anxious.
It's not unusual to have
So
food
you-
trucks at a brewery.
I just
Yeah.
want to clarify, so you've approached anybody, food truck?
Yes.
People, and they said, no, we have to go through this process, so
Right.
therefore, we can't help you.
Right, so we've
Okay.
been doing pop-ups, they're called pop-ups,
Yeah.
they'll come in and basically cook the foods somewhere else, come in and set up like a cater.
Okay,
So we've been doing that.
so they can do it that way because they've already
Right.
been licensed for food.
Right, but like Able Ebenezer, they have Friday night food trucks.
They sure do.
Draws in a
And-
lot of people.
Yeah, and it's,
Yeah.
they'll rotate, they'll have
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 different
Yeah.
food trucks, all pizza trucks.
Joanne, what's the exact process for someone to advocate for that change? I recognize you said it goes back to the select board and they have to approve
Right.
that, but
So I could give you a copy of the, I could send it to you.
Yeah.
Copy of the ordinance itself. And then you can take a look and see what I mean about the different charges and the different processes that you have to go through.
Okay.
And then the next step would probably be, I would suggest meeting with the fire chief, the police chief
Okay.
first, and tell them what your issue is, and then he's like very reasonable.
Yeah, I dealt with them.
So he could, if he agrees with what you're saying, you can come up with a plan to make amendments to it, and then it would have to be brought to the selectmen for, there's a whole process that you have to go through, so you have to hold hearings in order to change the ordinances. But it would probably take a little while, but because you have to hold public hearings. But I think probably the first thing to do is just meet with the select board,
Okay.
tell them that you've met with the chief, and then this is what you're going to propose, and then they would put it on
Is
a
Peter
new
Giordano
agenda.
still on the select board?
Who?
Peter Giordano?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
You have a select person here on our board too.
Jim
but-
Craig.
awesome.
But,
That's right.
some of that's a little redundant though, the state thing, that's a
Yeah.
Cory check, I'm assuming, that the background check is
Background
Cory.
check for criminal.
And that's state,
Yeah.
and that's state, so I don't understand why they would have to go through it again.
Yeah,
That to me would be redundant, so I think that's part of the thing that might be able to be changed.
right,
And if they show proof,
right.
you know.
And I don't know how often they have to update with the state, I'm not familiar with that, but if it's like every
typically
year.
with something like that, with a business and you're around people, you would do sort of a one-time this is typical,
Yeah,
a one-time background check and then a testimonial yearly if you work closely with people that
Right.
nothing has happened since, you usually
Right.
have to run it again. So
I have
that
to do
should
that
be,
with our liquor license, so.
there you go.
Oh, you
So
do.
it's probably the same. But I mean, we will talk certainly about looking at that and,
That'd be great.
and see if there's a way that we can ease the pain a little bit on that one.
Yeah,
Because
'cause
that does
that's-
sound like a fun idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
definitely
Great.
what people complain about the most,
Yeah.
is not having food trucks
Especially if we open a
Yeah.
patio, it would be
Yeah.
great to have it too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Somehow.
outside, yeah.
Is
Because
it-
I'm not cooking. I said no
That's
kitchen.
fair.
I do enough of that at home.
Just quickly, is it what's the process to get food? I mean, that's another whole licensing
Oh,
issue
yeah.
for you?
Yeah, then you have to, I mean, yes, the health inspector comes in anyways,
Right.
but then it's, you have to have a certain area set up for a kitchen. Your cleaning is a little bit different.
Probably need extra staff.
Probably, because I really don't want to go back and make someone a panini. you know,
Proper
right,
venting, a
so-
separate fire suppression, there's a
Yeah.
lot that has to
Yeah.
go into that,
Yeah.
but,
Usually you need a grease trap.
Oh,
Yeah, and right now we don't have it, so.
so food truck sounds like a reasonable
Yeah.
solution, so hopefully we can help with that anyway,
Yeah,
let us know, come
evidently
back.
you know about
That'd be
Able
great.
Ebenezer, so, which is good, so.
Yeah.
I know.
Let's push for it.
We've been trying to get somebody next door to us where the old Hubert's was,
Yeah.
to do like a barbecue. 'Cause-
Restaurant.
Yeah, restaurant,
Yeah.
because we have the liquor, they would have the food, we could work hand in hand.
Right.
But we haven't come across
Do you,
anybody.
do you need any permission for what you're doing now to bring the food in? Do you have to go
No.
through any
No.
hoops for that? No.
No, Charlie's gave us a heater.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
it ups his business a little bit too, so.
yeah.
Yeah, see that collaboration in town, I like that.
there you go.
Well,
Yeah.
we're trying.
That's good,
So-
that's
Yeah.
good.
And Tiffany's wants, is it Tiffany's? Across
Oh,
where
across the
Tire
street. Yes.
Warehouse?
Yeah.
I love Tiffany.
She just
I don't have to
catered.
cook food anymore.
What's that?
You can get meals. from
Oh,
her,
yes,
so
yes.
We don't have to cook anymore.
The
Isn't it
sleazy-
great?
Sleazy Vegan wants to have
Yeah.
meals made at our, and sold at our place too, so, the Sleazy Vegan.
The sleazy vegan.
That's a food truck.
Oh.
It's vegan food. They're trying to get me to eat
So
it.
Tiffany just catered an event Saturday night at our place.
Yeah.
And she came in and she had tried the different beer, and she would like to do something with us too, as far as food goes, but
Yeah, we might do a
It's-
collab with White Birch to
Yeah.
do a food pairing dinner or whatever with them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if you do something like that, is there any board that you would submit that to make an announcement on your behalf?
You guys. You guys. Yeah.
I was looking around going,
Absolutely.
okay, is this a
So I can think of other boards that would be willing to come,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Sure.
like
That-
budget committee.
Word of
Yeah,
mouth is
okay.
great.
That's great.
Are there any other questions from the council? Anybody else? Same question I posed before, is there anything that you were hoping we would ask or something that we should have talked about that you were hoping for that we haven't?
No, it was,
No,
as I
just
said,
that
those two.
food truck was a
Food
big,
truck and the sewage was,
that'd be
Yes,
great.
yes, yeah, okay.
The food truck would be awesome
Yeah.
if we can get, we'll still do other things too, but if we can get food trucks there. I think
Well,
that'll
maybe a
build-
couple of us
I
will
see
come have a
why
beer
that'd
one
be a Great
day.
idea.
be awesome.
Okay.
nice, you know?
Yeah.
All right,
The more people we like.
yes, there you go. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
in, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
To see you all at Mountain Base Brewery. It'd be awesome.
We had,
Thank you, Karen.
we had two businesses that represent Suds.
There you go, yeah. Suds and buds.
That was well done, I was trying to think of a way to connect the two, and there you go.
I didn't
like
know
it was
we had a
Suds
theme
night.
for the meeting.
Do I have the car washed and then
There
get pizza at Domino's?
There you go.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
I'm glad to hear that you're Bernardo for,
Yeah.
it's an RP too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we talk. So we're always talking, it seems. Either by email or something. Joanne, help. We'll see ya.
Take care.
Good night.
If it's okay with everybody, I'm going to skip to 4. Jim has a conflict, has to leave in about 15. So if we can skip to item 4 while Jim is still here, that would be great. So expanding social media presence. I know we've talked about this before. And did you bring it's in here?
It's in there,
Okay.
yeah, the policy for the
So-
town's policy is in front of you.
So the town policy is not as prohibitive as maybe I originally thought. So I met with Derek and Joanne, when was that? Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Whew, feels like 3 days ago. But we met, and really, what we have to decide as a council is the scope of what we want to do. And I'd like to let you know what I said to Derek, and then get your thoughts about if you feel like we are good to go in that direction, if I missed something, or if you had a different idea entirely as a council. But my thought around it was modernize the way that we communicate to local businesses. Give ourselves a central hub and a place to communicate to local businesses. Invite new people coming in to simply like the Goffstown Economic Development page, which would be independent of the town site. And if we do that and we're successful in getting a number of people on there, some of these announcements that we make here that often go into the ethers and we don't know where could be made there as well. We also could do polls, things like that on businesses around, so we could get some information.
Surveys online.
Surveys online, right, exactly,
Events.
exactly.
Events.
Yes,
Ask a
events,
question online.
ask a question, and hear back from businesses, allow businesses to advertise, so it would not be, and the other piece, and I'm so happy he mentioned the sewer piece. The fees are the fees, right? But those surprise fees are tough.
Yeah.
So when and by surprise, I want to be clear what I mean. It wasn't a surprise to anyone in town that those fees existed. It's just a surprise to the business owners because somehow they didn't get that information, or it seemed evasive for them to get that information, which is not the goal. We want them to know everything coming in. So, for instance, if new businesses are coming in, we can talk about sewer fee changes. Every single year, there are changes to all the fees in town. Having a place that we can list those fees, connect to the businesses, get their feedback, it would be a great place. So that's really the scope of what I was thinking. I'm sure there's more we can do. I think there's a lot of smart people on here that can help me think of more. But that's what Derek and I talked about. And so we can invite Derek in when we have a full understanding of what we'd like to do. But in general, and Joanne, keep me honest, but I think I have a good understanding of this now. Either the select board or Derek could approve something going up. And then and Joanne would be our first sort of, okay, this is a business wants to put this up, it goes to Joanne. Joanne approves it and says, okay, it's going up on the website. Or we want to do a poll or a online survey or whatever it is. Joanne is the administrator that approves it. The piece that we would need within the council is someone to constantly monitor, to find out, obviously, hate speech, those kinds of things that come into some of the comments. We've got to monitor that and let Joanne know. Joanne also does planning, as we know, so we would have to let Joanne know so she could go in there and remove anything like that. But it's not as quick as any of us just sort of posting something, but it's still more, and it modernizes our approach to communication with our businesses. So that's how it looks. Joanne, did I miss anything from that meeting?
No, just one thing.
Sure.
He said that we could try it out with 2 different
Yes. Yep.
platforms. So I had suggested, Facebook we already have, so we would separate from the town and have our own Facebook. But also to start with Instagram, because then we could start putting up photographs or videos or whatever of the town businesses and the business owners or activities that are happening and that kind of thing. If you happen to be there, you could just take a quick shot at it and then send it over to me.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Okay.
You could have like the Crossroads funny joke every week. I mean,
No, you really could.
Yeah,
but that's so homey, you know?
Yeah.
They crack me up.
Yeah, he's great. He has a calendar too inside. I
Oh,
was just
really?
there today, yeah.
So I may know someone who spends half their life on Facebook right now. I can assure you that we could absolutely set it so that every new post would have to be approved.
Okay.
Comments on the post, that's harder.
Yeah.
But just so every new post would have to be approved, and everybody uses it, so people are familiar with it.
Mhm.
They don't expect it to pop up immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were looking for someone to just monitor over that, I'd be glad to.
Okay, thank you.
I'll offer myself.
So just to be super, clarify it even more, it is very important in speaking with Derek that it's not a volunteer that approves them. It's that it would be a town person. But I think it'd be great to have someone that also can even alert Joanne, like, hey, we've got a few more here.
Yeah.
That's really what we need on this committee, is someone who can monitor, alert, and do that. So that would be great.
That's fine too.
Since I've been posting on the town's Facebook, I don't remember once where any negative comments were posted.
Give it time, Julie.
This has been a while now.
Trust me,
And I
know.
don't remember any
I
negative.
get some interesting responses.
Because the
Sure
things
you
we're
do.
posting are not controversial, really.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you think something is
Yeah.
innocuous, and then
Yeah.
something goes wrong. So we'll as a committee, we'll
Yeah.
figure out who's going to monitor that and
Okay.
let you know. But the other thing, we have to submit to the select board, aka Derek in this case as a designee, what we plan to use this for. So what I just outlined is something I can easily write down in a paragraph and put that forward. Is that acceptable to everyone? Do we need to vote on that?
No, I think you just need to agree on it.
Okay, so we
I
all,
think we gotta,
Could we add in
Yep.
something like a brief description of what occurred at the most recent meeting? Kelly Boyer does an interesting
yeah,
thing
seen
where
that.
she just puts the top 3 points.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's not
And
giving the whole
visitors.
thing and she's
Put
directing them.
people that come to visit
yeah.
and tell a
Yeah.
little bit about their business.
And that's all part of it. So
Yeah.
thinking
great.
thinking things
Sorry.
like no, don't be sorry. That's great.
Well,
That is an interesting. It's a way for us to say this is what just happened at this meeting. I said the minutes, but you know what? That's better because no one's going to read the minutes.
No one's gonna read.
Yeah.
But
It's gotta be a little bright and splashy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
And a template that they can look and visually find it every single time.
I like that.
And also post a notice of our, sort of a notice of our meeting. That way if anyone says, oh, I want to talk to them, and when is their meeting, and they'll find us.
I have to say, I think it was really exciting to have people come in.
Agreed.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's one thing to sit in a room, and talk about business, but
Yeah.
it's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing to hear about people brewing beer and
Mhm.
loving car washes,
You
right?
know it. You know it.
Right.
Damn, that's
Right.
good stuff.
And every business in town is welcome. So
Yeah, I just honestly think it's more like that invitation thing, like I
Yep.
really think we should make an invitation and walk around and hand it to people.
Yeah, but also, like you're saying, list who's coming, because how many times have we all said, anybody's welcome, like, oh, would you be
Yeah.
interested in coming to a meeting? People are always like, yeah, but like, then there's no follow through.
Right. I
But
had
then if
to
you
contact
listed
these
it and they were
people
like, oh wait, these people actually do
that
this?
people went. Those people went, and look what happened. Yeah.
And
I-
they're
Yeah.
getting the exposure this
Right,
way,
free
so,
market.
yeah.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I had to contact them and then I followed up a couple of times just to make sure they were actually coming.
But if we
But-
did that the first couple of
Yeah.
times, it might just start enough word of
Right,
mouth
where people
where
may
you
call
wouldn't
and
have
say,
to put
"Hey,
as much
can I
effort
come?"
into it.
Yeah. I
So
don't
I'd
think
add
we
something
would
like
ever
provide
turn anyone
information
down.
on guests at meetings as well as the results or topics of meetings. I can just add that quickly to what we put there. I like to be general so we have choices, but that'll work, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
I'm nodding.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay, so everyone's in agreement. So Joanne, I will send that to you, and when I don't, please send me reminders. It'll take me 5 seconds to do it. I just
Yeah.
need to do it and send it.
That's
You gotta
nice.
find that 5 seconds in that moment. Okay.
So many people are, so many.
So we agree with Facebook and Instagram.
People are on Facebook and
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Dick, you got Facebook and Instagram. We all agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
It's going to be in December, but they haven't called me yet with a date. Yeah.
Somebody writes a little information
I
about the
will.
Suds guy.
Yeah.
Suds, right? I mean, it sounds funny,
This is
but
where the network, it's where
Yes.
networking happens too.
I thought so.
Yeah.
And that's what you.
Jim, are you leaving now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I
So
thought a
hand
few
out so
people
many
showed up.
forms to people. Do you know what I mean? And say, hey, we'll bring you food if you need it.
Okay, I'll
They
keep
need
you
to
on the
push me, I
list
push
then.
them. Do you know what I mean? Because I thought,
Okay.
I knew what they were doing.
thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Take care, everybody.
Good to see you.
Very nice.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.
And they couldn't afford one. So
Okay.
I have one in my basement.
So let's move back to number 1, Joanne, the meeting with the St. A's. There was more an error on my part from communication, so we had something set. So we're gonna try again.
So they told me that they would prefer to do it sometime in December.
This is
And
December.
that they would let
It
me
is.
know.
Okay.
This was in November,
Oh,
they said
okay.
this. So I'll follow up with them. But I'll need to know from you, and Jim, some dates first, so I'll contact you about it before I contact them.
That sounds good. Okay, so that's a simple one to do.
You mentioned Jim, so is that a meeting that's gonna happen
Jim-
with both Chet and Jim?
Yes.
And
Okay.
Jim
Yep.
and myself and St. A's.
Okay,
Do you remember what the purpose of that was?
yes.
Okay. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure
no.
I like to bring it all back.
Yeah, no, I didn't know.
All right.
whether that was, how that came about though.
Got it.
For those involved.
And UNH co-op training.
So I thought, I was told by Scott Slattery that
Yep.
2 people showed up, but I thought one of them was Jim. I know Bonnie showed up
Okay.
For
for the training. Did
I
you
did.
go? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us
And
about
I
it?
haven't, well, it was certainly, it was thorough. I mean, he gave, I was there with Bonnie. You know,
Okay.
In fact, it was the 2 of us.
Yeah,
And I think what he wants to do is really, he wants us to be more formalized in presenting it, but as, you know, as personal as we can be, so that we can help them answer the questions that's on the survey. The problem is, you know, people are, yeah, I got the survey or getting it, however they're getting it.
Yeah.
Whether it's online or asked to answer it, and they're not returning it.
Right.
So I think if we present it and help them fill it out,
Yeah.
if you will. And also we can make calls to say, you know, is this a good time for you?
Yeah,
Because they certainly don't want to
beforehand,
walk
yeah.
into somebody that's, you know, one person owner.
right.
And
And they're
take-
slammed, and they're like, not now. You know.
So that's it. I think it's very flexible that way.
Okay.
And, but I haven't, he was going to follow up, Joanne, so
I haven't heard from him.
Because we were going to divide the list up.
Yeah.
That he's been kind of narrowing down from the original list that we had.
So
But I haven't heard anything.
I will contact him and also find out, because I know Melanie wanted to go, I was going to go, Jim was going.
Okay.
And I think you were interested, right?
Yeah, we had mentioned it.
And try to find out when would be another good time for people to go together, so he doesn't have to keep
Yeah,
repeating
right.
it.
That's the training for the survey.
Yes,
Yeah.
to visit the business owners.
I would love to join if I could.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Because I think that would be helpful.
So
you know,
that's-
Joanne, you know how the planning board sometimes does the workshop portion of a meeting?
Mhm.
Is that something that, you know, we'd have our normal meeting here and then do a workshop after, since people are usually clearing a block of time to come here? Was that something we could do with Scott?
Association meeting sometime.
It would still be televised, so.
Yeah? Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Man, when you think you have a good idea.
Oh, it's a great idea.
So you put water on it, Joanne, you know, just.
So if we're trying to promote the survey, can you do a survey night at the brewery?
I mean, I don't hate that.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
know, right?
Because then you get like 2 things going on, right? And maybe they, you know, people might go to that. I don't drink, so it's not gonna be that exciting for me,
Actually,
but I think a lot of people do.
Plenty of people go to those breweries that don't drink because of the social
Yeah.
atmosphere. So, I mean, my son who's 6 doesn't drink either. He was there.
Really?
He was there.
I
Yeah.
never know what to, like,
got him
do they do
controlled.
other things there? Anything else to drink besides beer?
I don't know.
I think they had juice for the kids. They had I don't know exactly what they had for
curious.
adults, but they had some other things. Yeah.
Because I usually, like, when I go out, I get like a Coke.
Seltzer, his seltzer is great. Non-alcoholic. They have non-alcoholic.
I was thinking, didn't we have someone across the way who offered space if we needed to have a meeting for, could we utilize that?
David Pierce came in and
David
talked. Yeah.
Pierce
Yeah.
offered the Harvest Christian Church space,
Right.
because they have meeting space there.
So we have some options if we
Yeah.
want to do something.
Okay.
So what's the action item? We're gonna wait to hear back from Scott and then.
I'll contact Scott
Okay.
and find out what's going on, and then try to get contact. I'll send out an email to the rest of you who are interested in some training, and then once everyone gets trained, then we can start off with it.
Okay. Sounds good.
This is like a really bad time to bother business owners.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
for
rough.
sure.
It's rough. Okay, so we'll hear from you and go from there. The website, so the budget item for, I assume that means 2023?
What did I put, 2003? Yes. I keep wanting to be younger, so.
I
put
keep
the
wanting to go
wrong
back to the
dates.
Patriots winning Super Bowl, so that works for me.
You don't want to see what the websites look back, like back
I
in
know, that's true.
2003.
I don't know, it's not
So
that different.
We talked about updating our page,
Yeah.
and I talked to Derek about when his plan was coming forward, and he told me that he's only budgeting, he put the money in the budget. First, the budget has to get approved.
Yep.
did it go through the budget committee
It did.
already? So then it has to go to the town meeting vote, or it has to go to
It
selectmen.
has to go, yeah.
And then it has to go to town meeting. So, you know, this is gonna take a while.
Yep.
So then they have to put it out for bid and all of that. So it's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. So we have, you know, what we have for now. I did copy just the economic development front page. It's in 2 pieces, but it's actually 1 page of their economic development section. This doesn't really do it justice. It's much prettier looking if you go on there yourself and look. And it seems to have a nice inviting introduction, and the links have, you know, fairly good information. Some of the links weren't working, but most of them were.
So all of those
All-
squares are
yeah,
links.
Links to
You put
different
your-
information.
Click on links.
Yeah, so ours is a little more complicated. I don't know if you've been on there lately, but it has long, like, photos or sketches that go like this. And then you have to click the little thing that says see more or more. And then it will bring you to another page of information. It's a little awkward.
Right.
Whereas, you know, if you just have these little boxes,
Yeah.
it's easier. And I noticed when I went on there, maybe a month ago, that the information, a lot of the links were broken, so I asked IT to fix them. And now, the whole thing actually needs like an overhaul
Yeah.
of the information. Because as I had said at a previous meeting, Bonnie had provided us with the real estate
Yep.
statistics, which were really helpful. And I'm not sure where to go for that. I think I just need to call a commercial realtor, and I know a few of them, and see if they would help us out with that. But yeah, I thought Londonderry was a nice page. So Londonderry uses that Civic Plus, which is what the town may go with. It's
Yeah.
not definite, but if they do upgrade, they may go with that one.
Okay.
So we'll see if, you know, that can be improved in the next.
So we're talking about more of a redesign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something a
Yeah.
little snappier.
Yeah,
you good?
and easier to get.
That's okay, they're gonna go to Facebook and Instagram anyway,
Well, right, that's true.
honestly.
Snappy but consistent with the
But there
town.
might be
Yeah.
a link from the Facebook or
Oh, yeah.
Instagram
Right
to
to
the
it.
webpage,
Yeah.
so
Right.
that's important too.
Right.
The catch-all will be those pages.
I think that's it.
Oh my goodness, thank you for saying that. I'm gonna add links to sewer planning, all those things on our Facebook too, so any new business owner knows exactly where to go check out the information.
Nice.
Thank you for that. That was,
You're welcome.
it almost went right through. It was there, good. Anything else, Joanne, that's not on the agenda that we,
Tomorrow night, there's a planning board meeting for the proposed zoning changes. There's been a problem with variances being provided for multifamily housing in the commercial industrial flex district. And you are allowed to do a mixed use of residential and commercial and/or industrial. However, lots of people are coming in to get variances, I shouldn't say lots, some people are coming in to get variances to just do residential. So they're taking up the little commercial industrial that we have. So I proposed a zoning change to eliminate all residential from that district.
okay,
We'll see if it goes through or not, but there's a hearing tomorrow night on that.
okay, planning's at 7, correct?
Yes, 7
Okay.
o'clock.
Any feel for how the board?
The
is-
board was in favor of doing it,
Yeah,
because we had a workshop on it, and this is our first actual hearing.
Okay.
But at the workshop, everyone seemed to be in favor of it. Derek told me he brought it to the zoning board last night, and there was a few people that weren't happy with it.
Sure.
But the problem is that there have been many towns that have been denying the variances for residential in their commercial or mixed use. And the owner or the applicant winds up appealing. So the zoning board will deny it, then the owner appeals. and then it goes up to the Housing Board of Appeals,
Right.
which they're approving all multifamily housing.
Yeah, there was a big article today about Epping.
Oh,
about
was it
350
Epping or Exeter?
It was
Epping.
Epping. Yeah. And
Yeah.
they went to the Board of Appeals,
Yeah.
State Board of Appeals.
Yes.
And they won.
It's complicated, right? Because we are, if we're looking for economic success, you need workforce housing, and that's where New Hampshire falls very short. So it's a real complicated issue.
Right.
So I think I'll be interested to see how that goes tomorrow. And is it appropriate, depending on how it goes, for us as a board to come up with sort of a in favor of, or we think this and present that?
Yeah, there's a public hearing, so they'll
Yeah.
be
Like,
open
sure.
to the public to
Yep.
comment. You can certainly do that.
As
Yeah,
public,
but
but
as-
I'm saying as a
As
council.
Oh,
a
yeah,
board.
sure, that's
Okay.
including the public,
Are
really.
you saying, having a message that's endorsed by the board saying,
Yes.
this is our feeling?
Yeah, because I know usually in a public hearing you say, I am on this, but I'm representing myself as Chet Bowen. I'm saying if
Yeah.
we came up with, if we all agreed, maybe we don't, but if we did, would it be appropriate to send an official message that way? So, okay. Well, keep an eye on it. I'm very interested to see how that works out.
Oh, you weren't suggesting for something for tomorrow night?
No, I'm
Okay.
sort of seeing how tomorrow night goes and then
Oh, okay.
going from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we'll see, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22.
It is.
And in two respects, and what you had just said, and also
Because the zoning board, so it doesn't stop someone from obtaining a variance, like
Mhm.
they can still try.
Yep.
And if
Right.
they do get denied, then they have another option of appealing.
Yep.
So it's not changing things for certain, but
Yeah.
But at least it says it in the zoning.
yeah. Because right now they're saying a mixed use, it's a mixed use zone. So they're saying you have to do, if you're doing residential, you do it in conjunction with the commercial or industrial.
Right.
But no one wants to build commercial right now, so they're coming in and saying, well, I just like to do the residential, well, then that's not a mixed use.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know, find another parcel for
So
that.
you're really just clarifying the use of it, you're not changing
No.
it, you're asking them to adhere to what it should be.
Right, but now they're actually, well, they're going one step further because they're actually saying residential is no longer permitted in this zone.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's mixed use or not, it's just not permitted.
So it's commercial now.
Commercial and industrial.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
We just don't have enough land
Right.
zoned
We don't.
for commercial.
So you're not developed land or land with
Well,
access?
the land that's left is not the greatest land, especially for commercial.
Right.
I understand.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? All right, motion?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Motion by Melanie, seconded by Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting adjourned.